got to get it out.
What is happening, people? Scarfy Spurslock here, back with another one of these weekly live shows every Monday, 8 p.m. I'm Harry, your host, and today I'm joined by four fabulous guests. Firstly, Flicks, first time on the show. How you doing?
I'm very good. Yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. It's very nice to have you on. Looking forward to getting into it. Peter, nice to have you back on the show. How you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you again for having me on. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you back on again. Travis, regular on the show. How you been doing?
Yeah, good evening. I don't think I've met Flicks or Peter before, so welcome to the show. You're in for a very good show. What Harry does here is absolutely fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a very unhappy Tottenham fan at the moment, but move, you know. So yeah, but happy to be
here. Where's my phone? Phone someone who cares.
There you go.
Perspective.
It's going to be an interesting one tonight for sure. Gareth, welcome back on the show. How you been doing?
Hey, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's nice to be back. Nice to see you again, Trav, Flick, Peter. Nice to meet you both, and hi to those who are in the chat.
Absolutely. Before we crack into it, big up to everyone listening live on YouTube. Big up Jay. Big up Barney. I completely fall for that. I didn't realise it was you. I should have read that. That's why you read comments before you pin them up. But if you're listening on YouTube, unbelievable. Please smash that subscribe button.
I didn't swear.
I'd rather that, to be fair, so fair enough. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. On the road to 2K, that'd be massively appreciated. Leave a like, get involved in the comments, and you'll get your questions for the panel towards the end of the show. If you are listening on any other podcast platform, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star review. But let's crack straight into it, because I want to firstly discuss, before we get into all the Brentford stuff, I do want to discuss our last game against Man City. I think I think we will have a lot to say about it. So Flicks, I'm going to come to you first. I want to think before the game, right? I want to think about your thoughts on the lineup, because Kulusevski's back from illness and starting 11. Højbjerg was preferred to skip, and we saw like Maddison back on the bench. So what was your initial reaction to that starting 11?
Højbjerg, for me, why was he starting over Skip? I would have started Skip over Højbjerg all day long. I don't know about you guys, but I used to call Højbjerg the general. I thought he was a decent central midfielder, but he's just gone downhill. Literally.
Flick. I get what you're saying about Højbjerg. I can understand why you think he's gone downhill. But like I was saying to Travis in the back about perspective on how for me, Højbjerg is a good utility player. He does the dirty work. He's a scrapper. He's that guy you want when you're 2-1 up against somebody like City, you know, who you know.
He gets the ball away with us in less than a minute. He nearly gave 2 goals away.
Listen, I'm not saying it was a good idea that he started, but I'm not at the same time. I'm not going to sit there and say he used to be. He is, but it's utilising what he's good for.
He's just very messy right now.
And my apologies for interrupting you.
No. I just think he's very messy right now. We can't have players like that. It's just ridiculous.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, on another day, I simply think we would have won the game. You know, you're forgetting there's no Sonny there, no Basuma, no Sarr. You know, and we still need a couple more signings. Will it happen? Probably not. Might be lucky if we get one more.
We get on to the transfer window.
I'm just sick to death of these Deadwood players. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah.
I'll be honest, I think it was testament. I think only losing 2-1-0, considering they are the world champions, the European champions. They are probably the finest football team in European football right now, if not the world.
Yeah.
And we have and the hoodoo of them not winning at Tottenham and not scoring at Tottenham was never going to last, right?
It's just the way we went out, though.
But do you know what? But what you just said, it shows the importance of Sarr, Basuma, Son,
Yeah.
the players that we're missing, but to have been able to have held them the way we did, even though, and it wasn't pretty, we didn't press enough in the first half. Kulu held the ball up too much. Romero held the ball up too much, slowed the game down, which isn't Ange's football. Right? He wants it quick, he wants it fast. So for me, those two were culpable for more than missing the players that we're missing. For slowing it down. The amount of times Werner was free on the left-hand side, Kulu would charge up the left with the ball and end up having 3 players around him because he didn't release it early enough. And he ended up trying to twist on himself and losing. I wanted to slap the guy.
Brennan Johnson would do the same.
Listen, Johnson for me is another Aaron Lennon, another Carl Walker. He's quick, right? But his final product.
Get on to Brennan Johnson. Don't worry, we'll get on to Brennan Johnson.
But back to it. It's testament to just how good or what Ange's done to the team. Because for those players to be out, for us to be missing Son, Basuma, Sarr, for playing Højbjerg in the middle, right? Having let's be honest, potentially not 100% fit Bentancur, right? Obviously didn't want to risk Maddison, okay? Werner's still finding his feet, right? Richarlison needs a service, and let's be honest, all right? He's not going to get that with Kulusevski playing in the 10 role. He's not getting it from Johnson because his final ball's crap, right? Yeah. Am I allowed to say that word? Harry, is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Crap,
don't worry.
Right, good.
I'll be here all day with you if we go.
So to look on the positive side, all right, even though it wasn't our best football, even though it was lackluster, to hold them to 1-0, I think is a credit.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
To look at the positive side, but at the same time, it's not the football that we've become used to and started to love under Ange.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough. But moving on, Peter, I'm going to come to you. I want to know your thoughts on that starting 11 before the game. Key one, obviously, Maddison being back on the bench. Did you think he would start, or do you think it's too soon?
Obviously, I'd have loved for Maddison to start. So I feel like we did miss that extra bit of creativity and attacking presence. But I think it was a bit too soon after his injury. And I'm hoping he starts on Wednesday. But it was nice just to see him back on the pitch finally again after all those months after the Chelsea game. So it was great to see him back on the pitch, obviously. I would have obviously liked him back in the starting 11. But other than that, I was quite happy with the starting 11. I thought it was quite good. And obviously, like Gareth touched upon, Man City, the best team in the world. And I thought we held them quite well.
Yeah, we did. And we're going to analyse it. Don't worry, we'll get onto it. Travis, bring you in on this. Give me your thoughts on the lineup. Were you disappointed to see Maddison not start? What was your reaction to Højbjerg being picked over Skip? Talk to me. That's starting 11.
I'm on the same sort of wavelength as Flick, so I would have chosen sort of a Skip over Højbjerg all day long. I mean, I used to rate Højbjerg incredibly high, and I can see why Flick calls him the general, because he gives his blood for the team. He tracks back, he tracks forwards. He's just that sort of player. I think, I don't know, he's just died a death a little bit, and I don't know if it's because he's got competition within the squad now. But as of Maddison, I think every Tottenham fan's eyes lit up the minute they saw him on the team sheet. But let's be honest, he's not 100% fit yet. And obviously, Kulu, he's starting to prove that he can't play at number 10 role. He's better out on the wing. But yeah, I was happy with the lineup. Bentancur's obviously still not 100% yet. But yeah, great starting 11. Apart from Højbjerg, I would have started Skip all day long. I mean, Skip's obviously not my number one choice, but neither's Højbjerg. But who else do we have? Obviously Sarr's at the African Cup, and Basuma's obviously at the African Cup as well. So obviously our options are very minimal. But yeah, it's a shame about Højbjerg, because I used to think he was a brilliant player when he first comes to Tottenham. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's just died a death a little bit now.
The old systems worked for him, though, didn't they? This system doesn't. He's not pacey enough.
Yeah.
What
I will say is, though, so to jump in, but I do kind of feel sorry for Højbjerg, because he's gone from 1 or 2, in that midfield under Maurizio Conte to 6th or 7th when everyone's fit, down the pecking order, if you like. In that midfield system doesn't suit him, but I still personally keep him. When we're 1-0 up in key game, let's say Brentford, we go 2-0 up, we want to kind of gently see out the game without, getting 11 men behind the ball. Højbjerg does that, does the dirty work, the unrecognised work, and obviously we've heard today that he will stay at Tottenham. So there you go. But Gareth, kind of bring you in on this. What are your thoughts on starting 11? I know you mentioned in terms of what Postecoglou's done, but were you happy with the 11 that were fielded?
With what we had, yeah, I'll be honest with you, I don't see much difference between Skip and Højbjerg. To me, they're both utility players. They both do the same thing. They're both able to get back.
True.
They both tackle hard. They both mop up quite well. Obviously depending on the opposition, but on the whole quite well. So I don't think there's much difference between the two. And with what we had available, what more could you do? Couldn't bring in Maddison for a full game. It's his first game back, and risk absolutely buggering him up and having him out for even longer. Yeah, you kind of got to sit there and go, yeah, we can't do anything else. So what's the lesser of two evils? Højbjerg, he's got more match experience, big game experience. So that's possibly why he got the nod over Skip. But to me, there's not much difference between the pair of them. So to me, it made no odds who covered that position out of the two of them.
Okay, fair enough. Peter, moving on. So it was 0-0 at halftime, right? What were your thoughts on that first half? Do you think City done well in particular at stopping our fullbacks and kind of inverting? This is something I've discussed in a couple of podcasts in the week. If City stopped our fullbacks and the Doggy and Porro, like kind of inverting and allowed that freedom to dictate the play, that we could potentially be in trouble. Did you think we saw that in the first half?
Well, I don't know. I really, I think Porro and Udogie, they were very limited throughout the game. It was evident to see that. And obviously, it was a great tactical plan from Pep and his coaching staff. Their press was immense the whole game. I mean, we just couldn't, especially that first half, we just couldn't get out on our own half. And they just peppered us in. And to be honest, I thought we were quite lucky to go in at half-time 0-0. Just despite us playing out the back sometimes quite well, their press was just absolutely brilliant. And every time they got the ball, they just looked like they were going to score with every attack. So I was quite thankful it was still 0-0 at half-time there.
Yeah, absolutely. Flicks, you kind of share the same thought that we were really lucky to go in the break at 0-0. And what did City do really well in the first half for you that stopped us being able to create?
Just passed around, the balls just too quick. Sorry, the tempo, it was just too much. It's just the boys were just all over the place. Especially during the first, I'd say 15-20 minutes, all over the place. Man City just moving the ball quick. But then when we did slowly get the ball back, I thought we tried to slow it down a little bit more, which I thought we did. But, yeah.
Painful stuff. Travis, I can come to you. In the 65th minute, Man City at 0-0, brought on De Bruyne and Doku. Was this a game changer in the game for you, Travis? And what do you make of both of the players?
Listen, I rate Kevin De Bruyne so highly. The guy's in a league of his own. He's probably the best centre mid in the Premier League. And I know people might disagree with that, but the guy is absolutely immense. Doku, obviously, is a good player as well. But Kevin De Bruyne, when you see him warming up and waiting to come on that pitch, you're hoping for the best, really, ain't you? Let's be honest. But yeah, De Bruyne comes on, and the City team just changed massively. It's such a buzz to have him come on the pitch.
Yeah.
Even as a Spurs fan, I got a twitch when I saw him come on, mate. To be perfectly honest, he's just one of those players, isn't he? You can't help it.
Out of this world, he's in a completely different league. Like he's just a different kettle of fish. He's absolutely immense. He's probably one of the best centre mids I'll probably ever see in my time. Anyway, obviously apart from Moussa Dembele, but we won't even go with Moussa because he's missed massively, and I know every Spurs fan will probably agree with me there. I mean, he's just. Yeah,
everyone old enough to remember him. So Harry, Moussa Dembele used to play in midfield for Tottenham. Right?
I know Moussa Dembele. That's right. I knew you'd say that. How could you? I watched him. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you Gareth.
Dear.
The thing with City, they're very good at drawing teams in, and they wear teams down. We were playing a very high line that whole game. But the way Pepper's got City playing is just, I've never seen Tottenham and City play in real life, but I know people that have. They said that the difference from watching them on TV to watching them in real life is completely different. It's quite scary to watch, apparently.
Travis, I have seen every game Tottenham have played against Man City at the new stadium. Right, I've seen every game Tottenham played against them, from Champions League through to Friday night. And what was different for me about last night, about Friday night, Man City press well. They've always pressed well. They always move the ball quickly. But the way they were on us on Friday night, it was what we've been doing to other teams and with Ange Ball. And we didn't seem to be able to have an answer for that. The way they pressed us was unreal. And like I said earlier about the way Romero and Kulu slowed things down. If they were able to have done things a bit quicker, and I don't know what was missing, I don't know what the disconnect was Friday for Tottenham, but not only did they pass the ball quick and they were crisp and they were fast, but the way they closed us, the way they boxed us in. Kulu got the ball. He's gone three paces and he's got 2 players up his arse. Right, he's getting absolutely crammed over onto the left-hand line. Sorry, Harry. He's got guys all over him. Right, every time the ball went, they were there. They were so quick in pressing us.
Stanley, I completely agree with what you're saying, but do you know what I miss with Tottenham so much is a player that takes on his man. We are missing that massively. Brennan Johnson, he's got the pace, but won't take on players. Kulusevski's got the skill, won't take on players. Remember back in the days when we had Aaron Lennon? Back in his prime, Aaron Lennon was absolutely immense. He'd take on players. He wasn't the best at obviously crossing the ball in, but he would take on a player, and that's what we are.
Well, you had Lennon on one side, you had Bale on the other. You had Kyle Walker. Even Danny Rose would take players on. The ones he knew he could take on, he would. Ledley King would do the same. When he was carrying the ball out from even big doors. But then when you had when you had Dembele in the middle, though, you didn't need Dawes and Kings and Ledley to do it, because the way Dembele would shift that ball between his feet, get between 2 and 3 players, and then lay it off. Don't get me wrong, Bentancur, I think is close. I'm not going to say how close, but I think he's close. He's very good with the ball. He's very good at moving it and getting around players in tight spots that I've
he's not 100%,
and this was it prior to his injury. Once he's back to 100%, I think our midfield will take a whole new shape again. Especially when Sarr and Basuma are back.
Gareth, how close would you say Bentancur is that percentage to being fully fit?
I think he's still about 75-80%, mate. If I'm perfectly honest, he's had 2 quick injuries. He's had 2 quick injuries. He came back from injury and he got clattered in the Villa game. And he's come back, and a part of me is wondering if he's come back because it's more a case of having to. Because could you imagine playing Skip and Højbjerg in the middle on Friday night? I was going to swear there, but I held it in. All right, it was. It would have been ridiculous. I think Bentancur, and at the moment Bentancur has to play. I
agree.
Yeah, match fitness though is unless he's playing, he ain't going to get back to 100%, is he? So it's his.
You talked about this, you talked about the likes of Kulu having a ball earlier, and before he's got 2 players up his arse.
Thanks, Flicks, for swearing as well.
My bad. Højbjerg, when you got Højbjerg, Bentancur, like you say, Bentancur he's not 100%. We all know that. But when you got Højbjerg next to him, there's none of that creativity there. If you had Stark or Zoom up, different story. Guarantee it.
No, I can't deny that. That's true.
Yeah, guaranteed.
I'll be honest. I wish Kulu had trusted Werner more, held the 10 position rather than trying to run down the left, because he never went into Johnson's over to the right, which is his normal position. He kept moving over into but the space Werner had, there was only a couple of times during the second half where Werner got the ball and the space, and it's fine. He managed to get it in close enough. His final ball on one wasn't great. The other one, didn't.
For me, it's the long ball over the top we need, just to change for me the tactics slightly, or you just put the ball over the top to chase.
And this is a thing with City. Sometimes you need a bit of basic football could be the difference. You look at some of the games where they've lost this season. Some of it's been, they drew with us, because we played good football. Some teams have got results against them because they've gone route one, and all of a sudden City are going, oh God, it's the ball, Christ, and they don't, and before they know it, it's, they put one in, and it's happened a couple of times. But Ange has got his philosophy, and I firmly believe if we'd have had Son, Sarr, and Basuma, we'd have been looking at a trip to Luton right now.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. But I do want to move on because in the 73rd minute, Maddison did come on for Benton Court. So, Flicks, I'll come to you. How good is it to have Maddison back? And does anyone play FBL here? Anyone got Maddison back in their team?
Play what?
Yeah, I'm thankful he's that.
What is FBL?
Gareth, for another day. Fancy Premier League.
Oh, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. Oh, fantasy football.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I play
fantasy league.
I play FIFA. Madison's never been out of my team.
Fair enough. There you go. Flicks, how good is it to have Maddison back?
Words can't describe. You know what I mean? We're missing that creativity. Is when you ain't got in there, it's different stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I just want to quickly say, like, I really thought Ange left it far too late for Maddison to come on. In my opinion, he should have brought him on. Start the second half.
But what I will say, someone who's there, Flicks, when Maddison did come on, there's a lot of times where he was near us, he's just saying, don't pass to me, which is always a concern when the players come back and he's holding his hand going like, don't pass to me. And that was quite concerning. He got into good areas and he just didn't necessarily want the ball.
Harry, do you not think, though, because of how well he reads the game, he knows he's not going to be able to do anything. So don't pass to him. Be, right? But also, you've got to remember, 75 minutes or 73 minutes when he came on, it was still 0-0. Right? So Mad has still had a chance to affect the game. But like Benny, he's not fully fit. It's his first game back. I'll be perfectly honest with you. If he hadn't come on and we'd have still lost 1-0, I wouldn't have been too bothered because I'd rather him be, as close as possible to being fully right, and coming on and being more effective for longer periods. But we needed somebody to come on and try and create something. But again, the City press was so good that even when Madders did get the ball, and this is what Madders in-game, the way he looks at the game, the way he sees the game, he knows who's around him. He knows if the ball comes to him, he's either going to get crunched or he's going to lose the ball because the person who's going to be coming for him, he knows he's not going to be able to get around him because he knows he's not where he should be fitness-wise. So, yeah, I wouldn't read too much into the fact he didn't want it, Harry. I think he just, because he reads the game so well, that's where he's at.
Okay, fair enough. There you go. Peter, how happy are you to have Maddison back?
Oh, it was such an amazing feeling. I was also at the game and the buzz around the stadium when he was coming on was just outstanding.
Yeah, it's great.
Honestly, goosebumps. It was brilliant. Our whole atmosphere, the whole mood change of the game because we were almost given the ball away cheaply before he came on, and it was just honestly a great feeling to have him back. And I'm so excited to see him playing again.
Yeah, it's great to have him back. Let's face it. Travis, I'm going to move on to you. I think you've got a lot to say about this, but I could be completely wrong. 88th minute, Ake scores a winner in what was, I would say, a very nervy game. So this is going to take up some time, so I want to crack straight into it so we can move on eventually to Brentford. Travis, was it a foul for you, or is it poor goalkeeping by Vicario, or is it both?
For me, it's both. For me, it's 50-50. That should have been a drop ball, if anything, I think. But obviously, because it's Manchester City, it's going to go their way. I mean, that ref, I can't remember his name now, which is quite bad because I just can't stand the bloke. But we get so unlucky. I can't think who it was now.
Simon Hooper.
I thought it was Simon Hooper.
He had a ball dead.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, but we just think we get unlucky in big games with
Paul Tierney. Simon Hooper was VAR. There you go.
Paul Tierney. Yeah. Before the game had even started, and I saw Paul Tierney was the referee. I knew exactly what was going to happen. He's as bad as I could go on forever about referees, but obviously I'm not qualified ref, so who am I to say? But yeah, I don't like Paul Tierney.
Fair enough. Flicks, coming to you. Foul on Vicario. Soft, do you reckon, or is it just poor goalkeeping?
Same as what Travis said. It's very 50-50. Vicario should have been a lot stronger. But at the same time, in my opinion, it was a foul. If you look carefully, Ruben Diaz, he hasn't even got eyes for the ball. He knew 100% what he was doing. And like Travis said again, it should have been drop ball. But it's City in it. It's the ref as well. And I swear the ref's a gooner. I swear I heard that before.
I guess we'll never know.
It's your answer.
Oh, there you go. Peter, coming to you. Is it a foul for you? Because for me, I've got to be honest here, I think I love Vicario, but I think it's poor goalkeeping. I'll be annoyed. You'd be annoyed. Like the way I try and think of it, right, is if we scored that goal, we'd be annoyed, if it being disallowed. I can't try and think about it that way in the other way, if you know what I mean. So for me, it's poor goalkeeping. Diaz, completely agree with Flicks. He knows what he's doing. But Vicario doesn't, for me, and it shouldn't be like this, but it is like this. Vicario doesn't create a big enough scene for it to be a foul. He doesn't go down. And he's already, if you look carefully, which I've watched it back several times, he's already decided he's going to go with a punch before there's any contact. So he's already put himself in a tough situation. If he's gone to catch it, he's fallen over. He just doesn't, for me, create a big enough scene until the ball's gone in the back of the net. But Peter, if you disagree, let me know. But is it a foul for you?
I 100% agree with you. I don't think it's a foul, to be honest. I think it's quite soft. And I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but Ruben Diaz was doing that entire game from every single corner. So it was a clever tactic, to be honest. I think it is quite soft from Vicario, and I think he should have done a lot better, to be honest. I love Vicario so much, but he should have seen it was coming, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really know what he's doing. And Gareth, to kind of bring you on this, well done for staying quiet. I think we need to appreciate that, but never mind. What do you make of the Vicario situation?
It was a travesty, absolute travesty. Do you know what? With the lack of protection that keepers are getting now, because they seem to have changed, how they're looking at the contact between a keeper and a defender now, aren't they? Or the attacking player. Vicario should have been stronger. Bottom line, should have been stronger. And what was disappointing for me was he normally is. So I don't understand why that lump Diaz he let get the better of him. Because if he was going to let him get the better of him and it was intentional, go down like a sack of spuds, make a meal of it. If he's not going to let him get the best of him, then go through him. Go through him. If you're going to go with the fist and you take out the side of his head first, who cares? What's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah,
absolutely. Barney thinks it's a foul. He should have been stronger, but my view is impeded. Fair enough. But I don't get why there's no Spurs player around him either. Protecting the goalkeeper, shoving off Diaz. If you look back at it carefully, there's no one on that near post, and that for me is criminal. But I want to move on to individuals, and the first individual I want to bring up that's created already a lot of talking point. Brennan Johnson. So, Peter, I'm actually going to come to you first. I want to know, firstly, the thoughts on his performance in this game, because I think he's fairly quiet. But also, the main question is your thoughts on his start to life at Spurs. Are the questions fair? And does he need time for you, Peter?
I agree. Had a quiet game against Man City. I mean, Guardiola's a very, very great, strong defender, so it is quite difficult. But there's a few times where I think he could have possibly maybe tried turning and taking on his man rather than playing the safe option backwards, which, I mean, the fans don't really like to see. But other than that, I think there's a lot of harsh criticism towards him, especially on social media. I mean, he hasn't had the worst of starts in comparison to many of our big money signings. You compare it to like Ndombele and players like that. So I think it's very harsh on Brennan Johnson. I'm sure he'll come good because Ange clearly wanted this player and he's playing him consistently every single game. He's getting in the right positions. So I'm sure the end product will come sooner rather than later. And especially with Maddison now to open up that creativity about him, maybe it can be more runs in behind for Brennan Johnson, which will obviously elevate his game to the next level, hopefully.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you personally. I won't say my view because it honestly takes too long, so that's for another day. Flicks, I want to come to you. Where do you stand at the moment with Brennan Johnson? Do you think, I mean, are our fan base being reactionary, and what do you make of his kind of start to life in the Spurs shirt? Are the questions even fair?
With Brennan, he's only been here 5 minutes. You've got to give him time. Like when any player joins, you've got to give the guy, whoever, time. But there was maybe a couple of occasions where he was on goal, and you'd think, why not just go around the keeper? Try and go around the keeper. it doesn't. It's I don't know, but a lot of like you say on social media, a lot of fans are jumping on him. You know, but it's you got to give him time.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, he does need time. Absolutely. Travis, where do you stand with Brennan Johnson? Obviously, regular on the show, we've discussed it a lot of times. Where are you at with Brennan Johnson at this moment in time?
My opinion on Brennan Johnson hasn't changed. I think with Brennan Johnson, I think yes, obviously give him more time. I'm not giving him up. Not giving up on him yet. But with Johnson, I think he's got a lot of Dele Alli-esque to him, and I think he's lazy. I think he struggles to track back to defend. But yeah, I mean he's playing in the right positions. Obviously, we can't even comment that he's not playing in the right position. But I think he's got the pace. He's shown the pace. He's quick. And I think he needs to start. I mean, his ball into the box is absolutely superb. I don't think I've seen maybe one or two, but the rest of his crosses have been pretty decent, to be fair. But I think he needs to start taking on defenders more, and just go for it. I mean, how old is Brennan Johnson? What was he, 23, 24?
22, I think.
22, I think.
Yeah. I was going to say between 22 and 23. I couldn't tell you to be exact. Still young.
Yeah. So I'm not going to give up on him
22.
yet. 22. Thank you for confirming.
23 in May.
Cool. I'll send him a birthday card. Yeah, I'm not going to give up on him. I'm not going to give up on him. He's got a lot of potential. He's still young, and obviously he's the player that obviously Big Ange wanted, and obviously Ange likes playing attacking football. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he just needs to start showing it a bit more. I'm not saying he's a bad player, because I don't think he's a bad player. But I think he just needs to just pick up his step a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say one thing on the Brennan Johnson thing. As someone who's defended Brennan Johnson throughout the season, being honest, his start to life has been underwhelming. But at the same time, it takes time to gain that understanding, that knowledge of your teammates around you. I mean, and your system. You can't just walk into a team and it to click straight away. It's going to take time. He has the pace to suit the system. He's signed for a reason. Obviously, you're going to get people out there who look for clicks and attention. But generally, you think surely you get behind one of our players, whether you like them or not. Like Højbjerg, Richarlison. I think firstly, fans have to have a go at someone. Like we lose to City, who are we going to blame? Is it Brennan Johnson? Is it Timo Werner? Is it Højbjerg? They have to have a list, and that for me is not the mentality you want. And I hate to say it, but it's very similar to noisy neighbours down the road in Arsenal in terms of the negative mentality. Go on, Gareth.
It's the toxicity. It's the toxicity of the Tottenham fan base. They always need somebody to pin
But the questions are fine, right? But you can't
right. Look, but also you look at the people that they have pinned it on, and they've come good. Emma Goat had started life not underwhelmingly, and has come on leaps and bounds. Pedro Porro, he was slated after his first game. He was to blame for so much. Look at him now. There are men even tweeting that they want him to have their babies, not just the girls in the fan base, right? Johnson has proven what he can do in the Premier League. He did it at Forest, okay? The difference between Forest and Tottenham is he has gone to the big pond, okay? He's left the little paddling pool and he's in the ocean, right? He's now not the big fish. Right, the talented big fish in a small pond. He has now got to raise his game. We know he's got the ability, right? But he's still a young lad. He's still got to learn. He will come good, like Emerson has. He'll still come good, like Porro has. Okay, but because the fan base is the way the fan base is, they are going to give somebody the grief. At the moment, it's Johnson's turn to be sat in that chair. Okay,
yeah.
Højbjerg,
it'll be Werner next.
Right, listen, Werner will have a stinker, mate. It will happen. We know it will happen. Okay, he's going to miss a sitter, and it's going to be the last kick of the game. It's going to be a match-winning opportunity, right? And everyone's going to go, "Oh, look, typical, same as he was at Chelsea. Can't stay on side. Oh, can't hit a barn door." So Werner will take his turn at some point. Okay, but every time there has to, rather than a bit of perspective. Right, which you need to take. All right, you need to look at things logically, realistically. But yeah, everybody needs to vent their spleen, and someone will get it.
Emerson Royale is not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and I'll stick with that to the day I die. I can't stand the bloke.
Listen, mate, when you stop hiding your pedo in your McDonald's cup, all right, and just admit you've got a problem, I'll start listening to you.
Travis. Oh dear. Right. I will move on to Timo Werner because you've already briefly mentioned him there. I'm not going to call out individuals, but I did spend a large amount of yesterday on a few shows, etc. And the Timo Werner agenda, if you like, it's already started. It's already started. Why was he signed? I've already been through that. But Peter, I want to come to you. Again, thoughts on his performance. Why wasn't he effective? Do you put that down to him? Lots of people turned around to me and said, okay, when Harry Kane, when the team weren't playing well, Harry Kane found a way to create his own chances. Do you think the team and Ange should adjust the tactics slightly to suit Timo Werner?
I mean, there's no doubt Timo Werner is an outstanding player. I mean, it was a 50 million signing for Chelsea, so he's obviously a brilliant player. And honestly, I thought he had quite a decent game against Manchester City. He made so many brilliant runs that unfortunately he just wasn't picked up by Kulusevski for whatever reason. I mean, maybe if Maddison was there, it could be a different story. Could be played through on goal and possibly put one of the chances away, and we'd be looking at Timo Werner, the hero. So it'd be a different story to be looking at here. So I think it's difficult to judge him after 2 games, Man United away and Man City at home especially. So I think he will definitely come good. He's a goal scorer. He's a great finisher. He's got fantastic pace. He's good at dribbling. And he showed it against Man City when he actually laid off a chance to Brennan Johnson, which possibly Johnson could have done better. But it was a great skill from him and a fantastic weight and pass on that. So I think Werner's a great player. So I think people are judging him maybe too quickly, again, with the Brennan Johnson. So I hope we give Werner time. I really do.
Yeah, so do I. I absolutely do hope so. Thank you, Peter. Flicks, Timo Werner, why wasn't he effective? What do you put that down to in that Manchester City game in particular?
Why wasn't he effective? Isolated, not enough service. Making the runs, he was making runs pretty much all night. Like I said, just weren't getting the service. And again, like I said earlier on, it would have been a different ball game with the likes of Sarr, Basuma.
Yeah, fair enough. I do want to move on to our transfer window. Before we get to Brentford, I want to focus on our transfer window because, I mean, it is deadline day week. So, Gareth, I'm going to come to you first. I want to hear the answer from you, actually. This is why I've come to you first deliberately. So, firstly, okay. Rate our transfer window out of 10. And does Daniel Levy deserve credit?
Transfer window out of 10. 7. I think it's a 7. Okay. We've got a solid defender, which we needed an extra solid defender. Phillips is good, but needed to go out on loan, which he has, and he's doing well at Plymouth. Happy days. Dyer, we finally got rid of him. Hallelujah. Thank Christ. There is a God. So happy days. So we needed the cover. Tandanga, he needs more match time. He needs, and I think Millwall's going to be a great loan for him as long as he gets the game time. So we needed somebody, and Dragusin. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I knew who the bloke was. I didn't. I know as much as most people do. All right, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I know as much as most people. I saw his reels. All right, I've looked at the good. I've looked at the bad. And on the whole, I think we've got ourselves a decent player there. I think that the reports I've been reading that give him a couple of years at Tottenham and give him regular game time, he's going to be £100 million defender. I genuinely believe that, hands down. To be fair, if we got one more defender, him, Dragusin, Romero, and Van der Ven, I'd happily see them in a back 3. I think they are. I think we've got ourselves 3 really good, solid defenders. Timo Werner, I think he is, as long as he gets the service and once he's integrated himself more with the group, because this was what. He made some good runs. He was in loads of space. He wasn't being utilised. Once the guys learn his game, he learns theirs, and they learn to trust him. They trust each other. I think we'll find a completely different side of Timo Werner. And because of the positions that Timo can play, I think it's been a clever signing because he can cover 2 of the 3 front rows. I think because Kulusevski needs to go back out onto the right. Son, obviously, when he comes in, he can play 2 of the 3 roles as well. So we've got versatility. The midfield, Maddison, Bentancur, Sarr, Basuma. and having Skip and Højbjerg as our fifth and sixth reserve, I think that the squad looks a lot stronger. It's got a bit more grit about it, which I'm happy about. Do I think we need more? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen this transfer window? Probably not. People are going on about that guy from that Swiss, Norwegian international that's going to Brentford now.
Yeah.
Do you know what? In answer to the latter part of your question, does Levy need credit? I'm not Levy's biggest fan. I am part of the Levy out, but as I keep saying, perspective and credit, and I've always said this, credit where it is due. Okay. I think that he is backing Ange in the transfer market. I think that as much as, and it's no excuse because we've suffered for so long, the fact that we're in a good financial position, I think we still could have been with a bit more investment by him. So to me, that kind of is irrelevant to some degrees. But for these last couple of windows with Ange, I think that Levy does deserve some credit. I think that he's backing Ange, and I think he'll continue to. And everyone is going to love Ange and back Ange, especially after what we've seen under Nuno, Conte, and Mourinho. Where he's really going to earn his Spurs, if you pardon the pun, is what's going to happen next season. Season 2, season 3 is where we're really going to discover whether Ange is really the man for Spurs that we all believe, or the majority of us believe that he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Gareth. Travis, coming to you. What would you rate our transfer window out of 10? And does Daniel Levy and the board deserve credit for this?
I'd rate it a strong 8 out of 10. I never actually knew, same as Gareth, I didn't actually know who Radu Dragusin was, obviously, till he comes to Spurs. But I have looked at a few of his videos on YouTube, and the guy's an absolute man mountain, solid defender. So I'm happy with that. I did read on Twitter tonight, and this isn't coming from a reliable source, that Tottenham are going for a statement transfer, and that statement transfer could be Joshua Kimmich from Bayern Munich. If that is the truth, I'll be an extremely happy Tottenham fan, because that is...
I haven't even heard that. But if it's true...
it broke out this afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is, but as I say, if he is, I'll be a very happy Tottenham fan, because when James Maddison is out, he's the absolute prime deal of a replacement for James Maddison.
Is it Travis? Though? Is it? Have we got some kind of special relationship now with Bayern Munich, or is this the same kind of special relationship we had with Real Madrid when they took Bale and Modric? We got FA back.
Yeah, this is the problem, because I don't think we've got a very good relationship with Bayern Munich. I don't think Bayern Munich have got a very good relationship with us. That's obviously been made obvious.
Are you surprised, mate? The Yids versus the Germans.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, obviously, I loved rubbing it in our nose at the time. Harry Kane, obviously, Eric Dyer's tried his very best to speak German on social media.
German accent,
which is highly.
Travis, I've got to ask you, just because of our. Did you ever watch Fawlty Towers? Have you ever watched? Do you know what it is?
My dad watches it, but I've never seen it. No, because I don't understand.
Mate, listen, right. Watch the episode with the Germans, because Dyer's interview reminded me of John Cleese's German accent during that.
Okay.
I've seen it, so I know what you're on about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop talking about Zivar. I didn't. You started. No, you started when you invaded Poland.
Right, keep it back on track. The source that is reporting the Bayern Munich we could potentially be after Joshua Kimmich is the Football Insider.
How much?
It doesn't say. Alicia said Tottenham could make a move for Bayern Munich midfielder Joshua Kimmich this month. If they fail to land Chelsea's Conor Gallagher, which is a high chance because Chelsea want around 80 million, but it's both are seen as unlikely. So a bit of a non-story.
I think Conor Gallagher is absolutely sublime, but I also think Morgan Gibbs-White as well from Nottingham Forest. I think they're two.
Yeah.
Great midfield.
There's one I heard this morning. Aston Villa's Ramsey.
Oh, Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah.
What's a new? Yeah, that was a Newcastle link, wasn't there as well?
And Tottenham.
There was one about Spurs this morning.
Yeah.
But the Kimmich, they reckon in this 40 to 60.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
If we sign Joshua Kimmich, that is an absolute statement of a transfer.
But what Kimmy linked with another Premier League club last week?
Who? Sorry,
Joshua Kimmich. He was linked with him.
I mean, the source that I've seen on Twitter, it was a Spurs fan-based account. Obviously, it was blue ticked, it was verified,
Liverpool.
whatever. But until obviously,
I'm sure I said that last week.
Yeah, until I see Fabrizio Romano or somewhere along them lines, David Austin, obviously saying that Joshua Kimmich is on his way to Tottenham, and I won't really believe it. But they have said, and I have read a few sources, that Tottenham are bound based to make a statement transfer. So
Okay.
You do realise a statement transfer for Levy could be just the naming rights for the F1 course.
See, well, of course, but the thing is that I think with this Nusa transfer as well, so I know he's gone to Brentford now, but the whole idea of buying Nusa from Club Brugge was to obviously buy him for 30 million or whatever it was. Brentford have got him for 25. It's great. That's a great bit of business, but the idea was to buy him and then loan him back to Club Brugge.
Loan him back for 6 months. Yeah.
Well, that's what Brentford are doing, aren't they?
So, but the thing is, he will jump straight into Brentford side. He won't jump straight into a Tottenham side. The Brentford side, he's got his place already.
Travis, sorry to interrupt, but if no more business was done this window, what would you rate it out of 10?
I'd still stay with an 8. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Travis goes with an 8 out of 10. Flicks, what would you rate it out of 10?
Between 7 and 8.
Okay, between 7 and 8.
I'm very in between 7 and 8. You know, we've got a solid defence now. Dragu's in. I'm again, same person. Didn't hear diddly squat about this guy until I researched him. I thought, we've got ourselves a very solid defender. Very tall as well, so we need that, especially for his set pieces in corners, etc. Madders, I've always liked Madders when he was at his Leicester days. We got him. Werner, his Chelsea days were very poor, but he's still got unfinished business. 100% still got unfinished business. If he gets the service, then we've got ourselves a good player. I'm okay. I'm okay, but we might still get one more player before Wednesday. But yeah,
who knows? Time's running out. We need to get on with it if we are, but I think as well, what for me is it's been a good window as well. The players we've got out the door and off the wage books in your Perissages, your Lloris, your Dyers. Just as simple for me, little things like Divine ending his loan at Port Vale in League One to give him a step-up opportunity with Ashley Phillips at Plymouth, gain that understanding of hopefully a future teammate. Phillips going on loan to Plymouth. Smart things like that for me, really, where I go, do you know what? That is quite a big thing. Peter, what would you rate it out of 10 if the window closed tonight and no more business was done in or out of the club?
Oh, anyway, we're close tonight. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Like you said, the business of stopping Divine's loan at Port Vale and obviously putting him into the Championship with Ashley Phillips at Plymouth is brilliant. Getting rid of Dyer and Lloris's wage bills as well, brilliant. Yeah. Tanganga as well, getting game time now finally on loan, which he wasn't at. I think it was Augsburg in Germany, which is always very good. And I also think Dragostin's a fantastic centre-back. There's a clear reason why multiple big clubs like Bayern Munich and Arsenal were linked with him. And Werner, I think it's a fantastic signing, like I said before. So I think it's overall been a good window. I would like to see Conor Gallagher come in because I think he does take us that step up, to be honest.
You think Kimmich takes us up a step further, though, if we would get him instead?
Yeah, you could argue that as well. I mean, I've seen Conor Gallagher more, to be honest, because I watched the Premier League more. But I think also when you're looking at we need homegrown players and really, really is pushing for Conor Gallagher, I think it'd just be a perfect signing for us, to be honest.
I completely agree, Peter. I can actually, being honest with you, see a possibility of Kimmich happening, not necessarily now, but in the summer, because, you're laughing, Gareth, wait, because his contract's running down the Bayern, right? They bought in Dyer because, of course he's going to play the centre-back, but if Kimmich leaves, to me, he's they haven't got a situation where they haven't got someone who can play in defensive midfield. Gallagher from what we're hearing from sources, we're talking about 80 million. Are we going to pay that in January transfer window on top of the money for Drogsin and the loan for Werner? I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe it's one of those for the summer, but we will have to see, because I want to move on to Brentford now, which this show is about. And we're 50 minutes into it, and we haven't even mentioned the word Brentford. But we have now. So, Flicks, I'm going to come to you first. How are you feeling ahead of the game? And talk me through, from 1 to 11, what your lineup would look like.
Brentford, right.
Wednesday night.
The last 4 games, we drew 2-2. We lost 3-1. After that, 2-2, 0-0. They got Ivan Toney back. He's a threat. And he's one I'd love to see in a Spurs shirt. But you have to bag all 3 points Wednesday night. You know, we're at the Lane.
Yeah.
Starting 11 is most probably going to be pretty much the same, apart from I'd reckon Madders would probably start.
Yeah.
That's about it for me. Yeah.
You feeling confident then?
Confident? You got to be confident.
Yeah,
Got to be confident.
You got to be. Absolutely. Let's bounce back. Love it. Peter, coming to you. How are you feeling ahead of the game? Talk me through your lineup.
Well, I think we'll play similar lineup to what we did at Man City. I think maybe Maddison coming in. I'm not sure we'll start at the beginning, but I'd like to see him start, obviously. Maybe ahead of Kulusevski, who wasn't as efficient as he has been in recent months. So I'd like to see Maddison put in that 10 role, to be honest. I'd like to sound confident, but obviously, like Flick said, our last 4 results against them haven't been the best. And obviously, Ivan Toney back. They're always a threat on the counter-attack. And we know what Brentford will do. They'll sit back like they did at Man City away. They're brilliant defensive team, to be honest, when they come away at big clubs, and they always seem to get results against the top 6. So it will be a tough game, but I'm confident we will get 3 points.
Okay, thank you very much. Travis, how are you feeling ahead of the game? What would your lineup look like? Have we got another episode of Porro playing left back, or is he playing in a normal position for you this week?
Can you just remind me, are we home or away for the Brentford match?
We're at home, mate.
Home Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'd keep the starting 11 the same, barring taking Højbjerg out completely out the squad. Obviously, just put him on the bench just in case, and I would put Maddison and Bentancur straight in there. This might be a really silly comment to make, but something just tells me, and I know I've made a few, Harry, over the past couple of podcasts, but we moved. Something tells me Timo Werner isn't playing in the right position. I know he can play out there. Obviously, Andrew's put him out there for a good enough reach. I get it.
Where would you play him?
I'd play him up top with Richie, because Richie can hold the ball up, and Werner's got the pace, and he's not going to take defenders on. I would give him a run out into the striker. I would.
Then you'd have to change the system slightly if you wanted to play with the front 2, or would you just would you put Richarlison on the left? I'm just trying to make it practically work.
I'd probably put Richarlison on the left, which I think he has played before.
Yeah. Liverpool got a goal assist from the left, so it's very strong.
Hold the ball up more, and I'd play Werner up top. I just think Werner's a little bit lost out.
Okay.
Obviously, with Maddison being back, obviously he's going to get a lot more through balls and a lot more better service. From what he was getting from Højbjerg. But yeah, I'd play Werner up top and put Richarlison out on the wing.
He's quicker, isn't he? He's quicker than Richie.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason why I'll do it. And he's not scared to take on defenders. The City match, I think he was the only player in that team taking on defenders.
Yeah, fair enough. And Gareth, to kind of bring you in on this, how are you feeling, and talk me through your lineup? Would you change anything?
I think it's going to be exactly the same. I don't think, man. I agree with Travis. I'd put. I would switch Richie and Werner around for it. I don't think Madders will start. I think it's too soon. I think he will come on though. The last 5 games, it's been 1 win, 3 draws, 1 loss that we've had with Brentford. So Tony, going back to your comment, Flick, about Tony, you'd love to see him in a Spurs shirt. I wouldn't. He's a fantastic striker. Don't get me wrong. Do I think he's got the right attitude? No, I don't, and that's why I wouldn't have him in a Spurs shirt, because I think his attitude's all wrong. But like Tony, if I was a betting man, I would probably say that we're not going to lose. I don't think we'll lose the game on Wednesday. Do I think we'll win it? I'm not sure, because we haven't.
Don't give your score prediction yet. Hold on to your score prediction. Don't even think about it.
Yet.
Entertain it.
I don't know. I don't think we're going to lose. It's just whether or not we show up properly and play the football that we've been able to watch and enjoy since Hans took over is going to be the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I look at the City game and I go, we lack that creativity, and I would change, for me anyway, a few things. I'd move Kulusevski back to the right. I love Brendan Johnson, but I'm going to take him out of the spotlight. I'd personally put him on the bench, and I'd bring Maddison in. My one change would be Maddison in for Johnson and shift Kulusevski to the right. For me, I should look at that team against City, and it just needs something different. And maybe, do you know, I probably would as well. Werner down the middle, Richarlison on the left. We have an interchangeable front three. I'm just sitting here going right now, right? I know it's Man City, but we had one shot. Nothing worked that we tried. You've got to, because otherwise we become a team that's very predictable, which I think we were under the Mourinho, Conte, Nuno. Maybe not result-wise, but in terms of, the way we're going to play. So for me, need to mix it up, but we'll have to see what happens. Predicted score. It's going to be interesting. I can go in any random order. Travis, I'm going to go to you first. What is your score prediction and who's going to score?
I'm going 2-1 Spurs. I think Timo Werner's going to get his first goal. And I'm going to go with Christian Romero.
Oh, an unlikely goal scorer. Fair enough. Gareth, score and scorers.
2-1. I think, and like Travis, I think Timo's going to get his first. I actually think Johnson's going to score as well.
Okay.
Whether it be a deflected cross or he just manages to get the ball on target when it comes to him in a good position. I think Johnson's going to.
Yeah, pole driver.
Yeah, he is. He's going to do something, and Brentford's one of those teams that he can do it against. So yeah, for me, 2-1, Werner and Johnson are going to do it.
Love it, Peter. Are you as positive?
Yeah, I am actually. I think it'll be 2-1 Spurs.
Okay, lots of 2-1s.
I think Tony will score for them. I think it'll be a big return for Maddison. I think he will score, and I think Richarlison will also score.
Peter, can I just ask you one question? If you think Tony's going to score, is it going to be from a free kick in the wrong position?
I can see it being like a header almost. I think
it'll be a penalty.
I don't think there will be a lot of controversy around this goal.
Well, we'll have to find out. We're going to let Wednesday night do the talking. Flicks, wrap us off. Are we going for a fourth win, or are we going for a fourth 2-1? Have you got a different score?
I'm going to say the same, 2-1. I even put that on my Super 6, 2-1 Spurs. I think part of the game is going to be a little bit scrappy, but I'm going Werner for his first goal. Johnson, if he starts, if not, Madders for the other goal.
Fair enough. I'm actually going to... Well, I was going to say 2-1, but I want to be different here. I can't have a whole panel of 2-1s. I'm going to go with 3-1 Spurs. Werner to score, Johnson to score off the bench, and Maddison to score as well. I think Maddison will actually get an assist as well. Brentford, I think, will score. I think it'll be we score first. Brentford equalise around the 43rd minute. Penalty from Ivan Toney, and we just push on in that second half with a big Ange Postecoglou team talk. But before we get on to the questions that people put forward for the podcast, got a little challenging question here. And Gareth, this applies to you because you need to listen to this, because it is asking how many points we're going to get from our next. How many points we're going to get from our next? I think it's 5 Premier League fixtures. But I just want how many points you think it's going to be, not why. We'll get onto that later. I'm going to go in any random order. Actually, let's be handy if I read them out first. So our next available games. So these are the ones it's out of, right? We've got Brentford at home, Everton away, Brighton at home, Wolves at home, and Palace away. So it's out of our next 5 games. That's Brentford at home, Everton away, Brighton at home, Wolves at home, and Palace at home. We've got 3 in a row towards the end. Gareth, you look like you're counting. How many points are we going to get?
13. We're going to win them all. We're going to draw. We're going to draw one. We're going to draw one of them. Give me the list again.
So we're
going to beat Brentford. No, we're going to beat Brentford. Yeah, give me the list again. No, you want
Everton
to
away.
I've got to listen. So yeah, Everton will beat Everton away. Yeah.
Brighton at home.
Who?
Brighton at home.
Yeah, Brighton. I think will be a draw.
Stop. Wolves at home.
Yeah, we'll beat them.
And Crystal Palace at home.
Yeah, we'll beat them. You want to make it difficult? I'll do it back. Yeah, there you go. Well done. 13 points, mate.
You are unbelievable, to say the least. Gareth, never change.
Wow,
there we go. Peter, coming to you next. How many points we're getting out of those possible 15? And do not make me read it out.
To be honest, I think we'll get 12. I can see us either losing at Goodison Park or at home to Brighton, to be honest. I can see us winning the rest, obviously. Okay. It's controversial, but we never really do well at Goodison. 12:30 kickoff, I think it is.
They want revenge as well.
Yeah. So I don't know. And Brighton are obviously a fantastic team, fantastic squad. I know they've got a couple injuries, but they've done us over last time as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, very true. Flicks, how many points we're getting out of a possible 15?
I'm going 13 points, the same. Possible scrappy draw with Brighton, or possibly Everton on Saturday. Definitely.
That'd be a tough one. They want revenge, and they need a win. Yeah, that won't be easy. Travis, how many points are you getting?
I think Everton and Brighton, I think, are going to be our two hardest games. We always struggle against Brighton, and I think obviously, I know we've beaten Everton already this morning.
Travis, I'm very sorry to interrupt. I've got a request.
Come on, you Spurs.
Hey, come on, you Spurs. Love it. Oh, bless.
Sorry, Travis.
No, you're all right.
Go for perfect.
Yeah, I think obviously I know we've already beaten Everton once this season, but I think they're on a siege at the moment. Obviously, they're a bit annoyed. Obviously, they're 10-point deduction. Obviously, they want to get up the table as far as they can. Brighton is always a difficult game. Are we way out at home at Brighton?
Oh, maybe look again. Brighton at home.
Brighton at home. Yeah, I don't know. I think Brighton are a bit of a bogey team, to be fair. Yeah, so I think we are going to struggle with that. But I'm going to go 12 points.
12 points, okay. I went with 13, so to quickly run you through that. I went with 3 points against Brentford at home. Everton away, I think they could potentially slip up, as you guys have said. I think I'm going to go with a point for that. Brighton at home, 3 points. Wolves at home, 3 points. Palace at home, 3 points. Those are the games you have to be winning, you know, if you want top four for me. But Flicks, did you give yours already? Did you give your how many points again? You did. Yeah. For some reason, I thought I missed you out. I had a sudden worry there, but that's good to know. I didn't. Yeah, I can't even blame it. I can't even blame my age, can I? Yeah. What is going on? Moving on to the questions.
Being children in the private chat.
Let's focus. I'm going to completely forget about that, and let's move on to the questions that put forward for the podcast on people put forward on Twitter this morning. Right, I'll get my words out. Peter, I'm going to come to you first. Barney says, questions in two parts. The first part of it: during the summer, can you see Spurs strengthening a lot?
In the summer, I'd like to hope so. You'd like to hope so, really. I mean, Levy obviously realizes what a fantastic job Andrew's doing, especially after just 6 months, and how the fans have already gotten behind him. I mean, it's almost a unity. I think Levy want to obviously spend to keep him on the good side, hopefully, and obviously the Liverpool rumours and stuff like that. I'd like to think we'd spend big. Maybe Joshua Kimmich or Conor Gallagher would be his statement signing. So I agree. I think we'd like to spend big.
Absolutely. Let's hope you're spot on. Flicks, come to you. Second part of Barney's questions. A big up, Barney. I know it's in the chat. Second part is: can Spurs challenge for a trophy next season or even win one?
Oh, bloody hell. What, 16 years now, yeah? Oh, look, we've got the team. We've got the manager next season. Top four is a must. I want the FA Cup. I've always wanted the poxy FA Cup, but yeah, why not? Why? I'll say
you're not old enough to have seen Spurs lift one, are you?
Yeah, League
Oh,
Cup.
okay.
League Cup 2008.
No, I
wasn't
said
it?
the FA Cup. I said you've never seen. You're old.
No.
Yeah, I just
91.
mate. Yeah, just 91, mate. Yeah.
But,
I've seen us win any trophy, so
I say it year in, year out. We have potential. It's always like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You just can't get that second foot over the line. We're always a nearly club. But we have to push forward for cups and top four next season.
absolutely is. You've been muted, Gareth. You know why. So moving on to the next person, Travis. I'm going to come to you. I got my own back there. I got a question from Maverick Spurs saying, how close is our squad right now to being the ideal squad that possibly will want to win trophies? So how good is this squad, basically, Travis?
We are extremely close. Very, very close indeed. As I said earlier, Andrew's definitely been backed by Levy. It's the most backing I've ever seen Levy back a manager, to be fair. So yeah, we are that close.
Absolutely. The next question is from Luca, and I'm going to give it to you, Gareth. Lucas says, there's 2 questions. What was the problem against Manchester City for you? I'm going to give you that one.
Already said, Luca, we were too slow. We didn't press. Certain people were guilty of holding the ball up, and we lacked anything in the final third, any real bite, and didn't give many problems.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gareth. Flicks, coming to you. The second part of Luca's question is, what is your opinion on Nusa Saga?
Say that again.
Gareth, what are you on about? Right, sorry. So try again. Second part of Luca's question. You're going to be muted in a minute. What is your opinion on the Nusa Saga?
Not a lot, to be honest. Not a lot. I'm not really.
Fair enough.
It's simple as that. I've not really seen a lot, to be honest.
No, that's fair enough. I haven't seen enough to comment either.
No.
It's got to be honest. So there we go. Plain and simple. Peter, coming to you. Thomas says, any last minute signings you want to see? Obviously, you mentioned some names. You got anyone else you could think of, or is it Conor Gallagher or Kimmich for you?
I would love Conor Gallagher, as you know, but I'd like a winger that could maybe beat his man. Because I feel like we're lacking that winger, that maybe that almost that Aaron Lennon who just wants to always take on a man and have a shot or put a cross in which Richarlison could finish off. So a Nusa would actually be perfect for us, but looks like he's off to Brentford. So Conor Gallagher's my answer, to be honest.
Fair enough. There you go, Thomas. Travis, give the next question to you. Sammy in the chat is a Liverpool fan, says even to Peter and the lads. Chelsea fan here. Thoughts on possible Gallagher transfer and the money for him? So basically, we're talking, from what I've heard for you here from sources, around about 80 million. In your eyes, Travis, is Chelsea's Conor Gallagher worth that money, or is it a no?
You've got to look at this day and age's market and what sort of price tags teams slap on players. It's gone through the roof. Do I think Conor Gallagher's worth 80 million? No. Because Declan Rice obviously went to Arsenal for 100 million. I think Declan Rice is quite a bit better than Conor Gallagher personally. But to me, Gallagher's worth between 45 and 50 mil, I reckon.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, if you look at how much if you look at how much Mount went for to United, Mount is a better. I think Mount at the time was a better player who had more team game time as Gallagher. And
this is what I'm saying. Mason Mount. I don't know. I can't actually remember how much he went to Man United for now. 60 million.
It was around 60. Yeah.
No, and obviously his prime time was when he was at Chelsea. He's barely touched a blade of grass at Man United, so you've only got to look at today's market, as I say, and these stupid price tags that teams put on players, but they can, because that's just the market we live in now.
Connor was good at Palace because he had the game time. He hasn't got the game time, but at the same time, do I think he's going to improve the Tottenham midfield? And do I think he would get in there over what we've already got? No, I don't.
He'd get in there over.
He'd get more game time at Chelsea than he would at Tottenham, and that is why I think he wouldn't
get ahead of Bentancur, he wouldn't get ahead of Sarr, and he wouldn't get ahead of Basuma. So he'd get ahead of Højbjerg and Skip, but
Højbjerg and Skip, exactly, yeah, and he plays exactly the same position as Højbjerg and Skip. So yeah, I think he would get a lot more time at Tottenham than what he would at.
All I will say about Conor Gallagher is that he can play the 6, 8, or 10. It probably, for me anyway, in this Ange system. So he's a player that can play all three positions.
That's the only place for me where he would fit for Spurs, and that would be as Maddison's backup.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I see him as a number 8, but he can play the number 10 role as well. I'd rather him be a 10 than be the 6. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'd rather the creative part of his game. So I absolutely agree with you on that. But Flicks, next question to you from Brody. Brody said, who's the one Spurs player from the past you would like to see in the current Ange Postecoglou team? Can be going back as far as you like.
I've got many. Aaron Lennon, Defoe, Robbie King, Berbatov, Modric. There's too many. If I'm going to name one, Jermaine Defoe.
Fair enough. Gareth, the old man on the show, I'm going to let you answer this question as well.
Hoddle, the way he can ping a pass, the way that man could create something out of nothing with who we've got in the team now, with the pace that this team has. Glenn Hoddle, hands down, is the man you want in this squad if you could have him in his prime.
Okay, fair enough. That's a very decent shout. Go on, Travis.
Jimmy Greaves. Say no more. Jimmy Greaves.
Okay. Anyone listening live on YouTube, get your players that you'd like to see in this current Ange Postecoglou team in the comments below. We will definitely come back to that. Peter, I'm going to give you the next question from Villy. Villy says, if you look at the current Spurs squad, which academy player do you see being the closest and making his debut in the Spurs starting 11? Who are you most excited about as well?
Closest to making the debut, I think maybe. I mean, Donnelly's already made his debut. Well, coming off the bench, but I think the one I'm most excited for is really Alfie Devine. I mean, hearing so many good things about him out on loan for both Port Vale and now Plymouth, just seems like such an exciting player. So does Mikey Moore as well. I know he's a bit younger, but he's also seems so. I think we've got such an exciting academy, and I think they're top of the under-21s table, so they're obviously flourishing out there, and they deserve the game time. But I think Alfie Devine is the one to keep an eye on.
Fair enough. That Spurs podcast, very, very valid shout. Wants to see Harry Kane in this team. He would score the goals. It's a painful shout, but it's, if you think about it, it does make sense. And I'm going to answer the last question that says, what would your lineup be against Brentford? A has asked this question, so thank you very much. I'm going to talk you through it. So it'll be Vicario in goal, it'll be Porro right back, Udogie left back, Van der Ven and Romero as the centre backs. Midfield, here's where it gets a little bit different for me. It'd be Bentancur, Maddison, and Skip. It'd be Kulusevski on the right. It'd be Richarlison on the left and Werner down the middle. Rotation is important, needs to be done reasonably. We don't want to see a Fulham round 2 of the Carabao Cup, but I also want to give a chance to see the flexible front three in action. But that kind of wraps us up nicely for today's show. So massive, appreciate everyone who tuned in. Thank you all for your questions, and I'm glad to say we answered them all. Also, massive thank you to my incredible guests I've had on the show. 4 incredible guests. Firstly, Flicks, first time on the show. Where can people find you? And thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. All over social media, Instagram, Flicks__1, YouTube, only one Flicks. Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on. Go check out Flicks. Also, short but sweet. I love that, honestly. Gareth can learn a leaf out of your book. Talking to Gareth, thank you very much for coming back on. Where can people find you? Well done on limited swearing, let's say.
Well, to be fair, I didn't use any of the big ones. So they can find me on Twitter at MattClayton82THFC. And you can see me in the South Stand on match days, shouting and screaming for Spurs to win.
Fair enough. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Peter, fantastic to have you back on the show again. I mean, people should know, shouldn't they? But if they don't, where can people find you?
Thank you once again for having me on. It's been a great time again, obviously sharing the stage with new people. Obviously, it's brilliant to meet you guys. People can find me at Porro Season on Twitter, or Porro SZN as it's spelled, where I host Twitter spaces, and everyone's welcome to join and speak on them.
And they're fantastic spaces as well. So go check Peter and his socials out, including his Twitter spaces. Travis, regular on the show. Thank you very much for coming on. Where can people find you?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on again, Harry. Another absolutely fantastic show. Absolute pleasure to meet you, Flicks and Peter. Gareth, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. You do absolutely crack me up.
Mate, I enjoy the shows with you guys. It's great fun.
You can find me.
We'll put another one on. Don't worry. I'll organise another one.
You can find me on Official Caster, talking obviously about Spurs. I am starting to do a lot more mental health as well. And just talking about the subject about mental health while we're on here, I just want to bring Barney in on this. And obviously, I've seen a lot of disappointing and things on social media this week. Guys, Barney and Harry do an awful lot for autism and neurodiversity. What their work does, what they do for their work, and what they do to advocate it is just absolutely phenomenal. We're also lucky to have both of them on our social media platforms. I think there needs to be a lot more education around neurodiversity and autism. But these guys really are giving in big eye opener into the world of obviously autism and what they're trying to do to advocate it and improve on, I suppose, educating people on what autism is. So yeah, massive well done to you. Keep up your absolutely phenomenal work. You're incredible and inspiring in what you do. So yeah, fantastic work. Well done.
Firstly, Travis, that's massively appreciate. Very, very kind of you. And to give people context, people didn't see, Barney was a subject of social media attack. If you like,
is that your Fulham fan, mate, Barney?
Yeah, Fulham fan, Barney.
Yeah,
that's where Barney's from. Obviously, we formed that partnership, if you like. And some idiot basically took photos of him on the way back of the train after the game, and it's basically subject to attack. So, Barney, sorry you went through that, and thank you very much for your words, Travis. It's very, very kind of you. If you want to follow me, though, you can there, Harry Scarf 22. Most importantly, go check all these guys out on all socials. Go subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 2K. Your support is massively appreciated. Ultimately, it's free to do so. Your opinions are welcome, and keep on providing daily content as well. If you're listening on any other podcast platform, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star review. That'd be massively appreciated. But as we always say on the show, come on, you Spurs. A little bit of a different one here today.
This is an older song from us that really caught on. It's been sung by many fans at various different grounds. So really appreciate support on this one. Quite simply, it's about a guy who's ginger. He came from Juventus and he plays on the wing.
There's not a soul out there, no one to hear my prayers. Give me a ginger from Sweden. He came from Juventus and he plays on the wing. Give me a ginger from Sweden. Number 21, his name is Kulusevski. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.